Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam L, and this is Talk with the Titans. You know what? Tonight's show is actually dedicated to Zion, Lexx, and the Rabbi Harry Rozenberg. It's actually entitled The Content of One's Character versus Their Color. So you know what? Without further ado, we've actually got Zion, Lexx, and Rabbi Rozenberg in the studio with us today. I'm going to open up to Rabbi Rozenberg. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Excellent. And of course, we've got Zion, Lexx with us as well. Shalom, Zion, Lexx. Shalom, shalom. All right. So basically, you know what? I know a lot of people want to know, what is the show about today? What are we going to be covering? So, Rabbi, could you please just give us a quick overview of what we're actually going to be covering tonight on today's show?
Okay, yes, I do appreciate it. It seems that there's two things happening simultaneously. One, a lot of racial tension in America and abroad, cultural war, so to say. And simultaneously, myself and Zion, Lexx, who were partnered up together for an upcoming debate, went through our own internal racial conflict, which we've dealt with very, very well between ourselves, but it played out within the community. So we want to kind of discuss what happened between us, how we handled it between ourselves, and what we think about going forward.
Excellent, excellent. So you know what? Before that, could I get Zion, Lexx to give us a few words, please? Zion, if you're there, please open up your mic. It's muted.
Absolutely. Shalom, shalom. Can I be heard?
Yes, loud and clear.
Excellent, excellent. I want to say shalom to all of the listening audience, and I want to open up by first and foremost giving all honor and praise to the God of my ancient forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, the supreme intelligence of the universe. I want to make it clear that we signed up for what we thought was going to be an academic and scholarly debate. We believed, as per the conversations we had with those who set it up, that we were invited in an intellectual arena where we can trade differences of opinion and attack the issues at hand. What translated from that is that all of those rules and courtesies were abandoned. Immediately, Rabbi Harry Rozenberg was attacked as a white European Jew, and I was attacked as a coon for supporting Rabbi Harry Rozenberg, a European-born Jew. So from the outset, we saw that the tactic of our opponents was to completely evade the topic at hand and attack issues that actually can be dealt with on another platform. It's not that we run from the issues that they're opposing. Platform and this particular debate was designed under the theme of whether or not God exists, whether or not ancient Egypt had a God concept, and whether or not the Exodus story can be validated historically. That is the theme of this debate. And what we saw from the outset is that our and the antagonistic view and those who hold it, they attacked issues that had absolutely nothing to do with this debate. So I want to believe that the listening audience is very intelligent. I want to give that credit out there. And with that being said, if you have been paying attention, you can see clearly that they're not really going to touch on the real topic. They're going to use race to play on the emotions of the people so as to escape a scholarly engagement. I signed up for a scholarly engagement. Rabbi Harry Rozenberg certainly signed up for a scholarly engagement. And all we say is engage as scholarly.
Okay, and thank you for that, Zion. You know what? And everybody here who's listening right now, I don't know if you're new to the show or if you're just tuning in and you want to know more about what's going on. Well, basically, this is Talk with the Titans. It's a platform that's been created to literally gather the intellectual giants, the titans of the community, so they can have a well-organized platform to 1, discuss, 2, present, and 3, debate critical information that is that is actually affecting our community, proposed by you, the audience members, our community. So if you've got anything that you want to have tackled, just leave them down in the comment section below, and we definitely shall tackle them. Also, I know we've started a little bit later, so literally just hit the share button down below. Just hit the share button, hit share button, and let everybody know we've actually got Zion Lexx live in the studio with us today, and the Rabbi Harry Rozenberg, and they're going to be delve into things that's going on behind the scenes. So literally you're going to get the first hand, you're going to get the exclusives right now. So please just hit the share button and let everybody know that we're live. Talk with the Titans is going on right now. So you know what, let me just bring this back as well. Let me bring this back because we've got Stephen Graham here. We've got also Nusun, who is also a European Jew, and of course we've got Isa, who's in the building with us, who's also representing Islam. So it's a nice panel. And also, if you want to actually join the panel, just let me know. Type it down in the comment section, or actually hit me up on the Facebook in the group, and we're going to open up for dialogue with our Titans tonight. So that'll be at the latter part of the show. So right now, Zion, I'm going to have to go back into you again, because you know what? There is a lot of chatter that's going on via the YouTube, via the Facebook, and you know what? People are saying that Zion, the roaring lion, was scared of Seti, scared of entering the ring with Seti. I want to know, is that the truth, or could that be, or could that just be further from the truth? What is it? What is it, Zion?
Well, let me open up by saying this. I'm known for controversy, correct?
That's right.
So let me make this clear. To anyone who's saying that Zion was afraid of Seti, let me make one brief statement to you. Don't let me release the full footage from that evening, because I guarantee you, you won't be calling that individual a general anymore. And that's how I'll answer that.
Fire! Wow. Okay, that's them big fighting talks there. You know what? Anyways, let me be quiet. I don't want to get too controversial on the show tonight, because I want to open it up now to Rabbi Harry Rozenberg. Could you just give me a play-by-play? What was your perspective, on how the community is actually unfolding, trying to make it into a race issue rather than tackling the issue that is presented?
Okay, I do appreciate that. And first and foremost, I can never be one to judge the African American community or the African diaspora because of what they've actually gone through. So how they could relate to me, because I am a white man. I could understand there's a lot of trauma involved, and etc. So I just want to be very sensitive to how people feel about me. I understand they don't know me, but how they feel about me. So I saw multiple, reactions from the African American community. I obviously got a lot of hate, as you all know. There's certain people who would call me a devil and other names which I can't repeat on air. And there's certain people who've actually gone out of their way to reach out to me and tell me how happy they are to see that there is still hope for unity amongst people of the earth. And I felt like a lot of those people are being bullied by speakers who come on these radio shows and have their own YouTube channels and call them all types of names as far as selling out to their race for collaborating with the white man. And that's nothing short of peer pressure, because these are great people. They're warm people, and they don't have that hate in their heart. So I'm seeing both sides of the spectrum, but I am seeing that the people with hate are much louder than the people with love, because the people with love are kind of sitting back and watching this pretty excited, but the people with hate are getting up and making a lot of noise about this. But as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of like an indicator, or it should be an indicator from the community of where they're at, where they're standing, who is their leadership. Because some of these people who are showing hate were taking on leadership roles, but we all know a leader can't have hate or anger. If someone thinks I'm a devil, he could still have a gentleman-like conversation with me without acting like second-hand human when he speaks. Getting angry, frustrated, tension, screaming. There's no room for that in dialogue. So I've seen both these sides of the coin happen, and it kind of culminated with my debate with Brother Zion, because he dropped out, not necessarily because I'm a white person. even though that was a little bit implied, but it was really because the whole thing got out of context, out of hand, and he was getting a lot of heat from his community for something he wasn't even signed up for originally, where it ended up going. So we both mutually felt it was appropriate. Now, between Zion and myself, we have a lot of respect for each other, and I think we do have a great deal of things to do going forward in this world as a not a team, but as both equal citizens of the earth.
I like that. I like that. Right there. So you know what? Actually, I want to just quickly open this up to our panel member, one of our panel members, quickly, because I know Issa is very vocal and he will represent what the audience members are actually thinking and saying right now. So Issa, are you there?
Yes, brother. Salam alaikum, panel. Salam alaikum, brother.
Salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, akhi. Now, I need to know, what is your perspective on what's been going on within inside of the conscious community? You know what? Is there a bullying going on? Is there coonery going on? Like, what is your perspective, and how do you feel that the community also sees it as well?
Okay, so firstly, I want to say there's a lot of bias, obviously, from the Afrocentric so-called community. And that's because the brothers, Zion Lexx is Hebrew. But the thing that kind of gets me is where Mr. Harry seems to try to neglect the position of black people. Like, he's calling our justified emotion hate. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, if someone wanted to harm him and his family, and his family felt a big way about it defending themselves, would he call what he felt hate for those people that wanted to harm him? So, he's coming into the community, it looks like, to come and be our savior off the back of his people oppression towards us. So to me, it's not a matter of hate. A lot of us are adjusted, whether we're Hebrews, whether we're Muslims, whatever we are. I'm saying the fact that he seems to want to push the racial issue aside and just say, oh, I'm inviting you to a heaven on earth. Basically saying, I'm your white savior, come to save you, etc. Do you get what I'm saying? That's really, it's like a massive, massive insult. I'm not sure. I love brother Zion Lexx. His lick to Seti, might have knocked out one of the blocks of the pyramids. He hit him so hard with his response. So I'm wondering, why is that? I would like to hear Zion Lexx's position as to where he feels he can work with this Mr. Harry. Because I know Zion Lexx is an educated brother. He's down for our people. He's down for justice. But he isn't putting the pressure on this guy. Look, notice the racial issue and address it. Don't just pretend we're going to follow you into your version of heaven, because that sounds like you're trying to lead us into a slave ship. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I see it now. So basically, the community sees it as, from their perspective, it's the great white savior again. It's that great white savior in the times of slavery, where the Jesus character was given to the people, and they were taken into another form of slavery, another type of oppression. That's kind of how the community is perceiving it, regardless if, let's say, Harry Rozenberg's family was directly related in the onslaught that took place with black people or black tribes within inside of Africa. Because I'm pretty sure not every single European, not every single white person, was facilitating slavery at all. But is it a case that the community just tars everybody with the same brush, that every white person is now responsible for the oppression that black people have had throughout the centuries?
Can I just say something to that, please?
Hold on. I'm just throwing out there. One of those ones I'm just thinking. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to actually get my brother Zion Lexx to kind of respond to what you've just been saying. So Zion Lexx, if you're there, please just give a response to what Issa has just said.
Okay, so again, first and foremost, I want to say shalom to brother Issa. Actually, he has reached out to me online recently, and we've been dialoguing, and I've definitely appreciated a lot of the things that he shared with me, both intellectually, spiritually, as well as emotionally. He was certainly there to support me in my position and in my stance, and to offer some very intelligent criticism, which as a scholar and a man, you have to respect. You have to respect a person who comes with critique, because at the end of the day, if a person is criticizing you and their criticism is genuinely placed, that person is about edification. That person is about your growth. So I want to say that I certainly respect that coming from brother Issa. Now I also want to make this clear to my brother Issa. seeing that you understand that I'm a Hebrew, you understand that from a Hebraic perspective, from the text of the Torah, when we speak about righteousness, we understand that righteousness is merited by spiritual works. There is no color classification which would deem one righteous. So from the perspective of Torah, anyone who is in pursuit of a relationship with the Almighty Creator and acts upon that by keeping the laws, the divine will of the Almighty God, then we see those individuals as our brothers. We see people like that as brothers. Anyone who embraces divine law, which I believe is Torah, I consider my brother. Now, with regard to your sentiment of whether or not Harry's responses are sensitive enough to our emotions, you know, I speak first and foremost from our perspective, from growing up in the diaspora, so I can relate to the heart of what you're saying. But because I've spoke with the rabbi extensively, I would adjure you to continually engage him in dialogue so that he can address those questions that you have. And I think that what happened just now may have been a thought or a word misplaced, because certainly when me and Harry spoke, we scrutinized one another. You know, I wasn't just prepared to stand with Harry simply because he embraces Torah. You know, we spoke. I want to believe that Harry simply didn't want to embrace me because I embraced Torah. We spoke and we engaged one another intellectually. We felt one another out, character-wise, spiritual-wise, and I certainly deemed Harry as a person commendable on the level of scholarship, and some of the most important traits that I believe he has to bring into this particular debate that we're going to engage in is the idea that his plan of action is something that we've been asking for a long time in this country and in the UK and in our diaspora on a whole. He is addressing the questions that really matter from the perspective of those that we hold responsible. You know, our community has always long held not just Europeans on a whole, but we've even held Jews responsible for their role in the transatlantic slave trade. And I can certainly attest to the fact that some of the plans of action that Harry has proposed to introduce to the community as to how to counter, how to deal with the effects of it and actually to offer solutions, I think that he certainly deserves an ear. I think Harry can defend himself better than I can or I should, so I can only again speak on what I will do, but I can certainly tell you that there's an enormous reason why I agreed to actually share the stage with that man. He is definitely powerful in what he does, and I believe that his plan of action is relevant for us to at least give it an ear.
Definitely. And you know, before I actually bring it over to our brother Harry Rozenberg, I'm actually going to open it up right now because you know we've got you know, some members that have actually joined the panel fresh for the very first time, and it's kind of like their introduction into the so-called conscious community. This conscious community actually transcends both the Americas to the UK, to Europe, to France, to the Caribbean, everywhere actually. The conscious community is apparent. So I'm actually going to open it up now to my brother Nasun. Nasun, are you there? If you can talk, I'm just going to give a quick intro to you. Okay, if you're not able to talk, I'm going to skip over you. All right, so Rabbi, you've heard the concerns that's been voiced by Isa. I think Isa is a very good representative of the voice of the, you know, the majority of the conscious community. So what's your response to what he stated so far?
Okay, first of all, Shalom Isa, it's a pleasure to be in the chat with you. I had a quick, you know, thought on it, and I think it proves the point about the trauma I was speaking about. He said, "Why am I calling the word hate?" I think someone's got to go on mute for a second. There we go. He said, "Why am I calling the word hate? Because if someone was trying to attack me and kill my family, and I had strong emotions against them, would those emotions be called hate, or would they be illogical emotions? But that's the root of it. The fact that he identifies me personally with someone who wants to harm or kill his family, I believe is inherited trauma from what happened in the African diaspora. And I'm not trying to be harsh, and I want to be as sensitive as possible when I say it, but that's honestly what I feel is happening right now when I'm being called someone who wants to kill his family. And secondly, part of the trauma is also that he identifies me putting out a hand as trying to be a white savior. I'm not trying to save anyone. I'm an equal citizen of the globe, but I have meditated on thoughts and I would like to share them. My thoughts include equality. You know, I'm not going to be a president or any organization. I'm not going to be in charge of anything. I'm not trying to claim leadership of anything. I'm simply throwing out ideas. And before people hear those ideas, to classify me as a devil or as someone who wants to harm a family, I believe is non-rational and non-logical.
Wow. Okay. You know what? There's a few questions actually been posted on the actual chat line, but I want to know. This question is actually out to you, Zion Lexx. You know what? Will you be getting back into the arena, into a debate situation with the General Sara, Suten, Seti? Let us know.
That's a great question. That's a great question. And the first part of that answer is that from the outset, I never deemed Seti as a worthy opponent, in the sense that I don't see Seti as my intellectual equal. So I didn't think that me and Seti should have shared the same microphone that evening. This is the same thing that I said about Shaka Amos. I do not see this individual as my intellectual equal, therefore I didn't deem it necessary to engage them in a debate style or in a debate forum or in a debate setting. Now, I only agreed to debate Shaka because I was told that once I beat Shaka, I would get... Well, after my debate with Shaka, that the conscious community says I lost, Polight says, okay, now you got to debate with me. Remember, what we discussed with myself and Polight was I had to actually beat Shaka Amos before Polight accepts. And just so you're aware, my people, Polight accepted. So the proof is in the pudding. Moving on, when it comes to General Seti, again, he's not my intellectual equal. I only sat down with him on January 31st because, again, he was seen as a stepping stone to get to Polight, which I welcomed with open arms so long as Polight was at the end of that tunnel. Now, would I get in the ring with him? After what happened on January 31st, where I lost my emotions because I was dealing with a very aggressive individual, and sometimes when you're dealing with a very aggressive individual who was using language, and be it speech or body language, to convey an assertiveness above and beyond you as if somehow you're submissive to them, sometimes being a human being and being emotional and being emotionally receptive, sometimes we respond to that spirit. So I certainly responded to him in a level that is normally not my character. He certainly brought me out of character. And because it led to people saying, wow, I've never seen Zion Lexx ruffled like that. Sure, Zion Lexx hit Seti with some heavy blows that I'm not sure if Seti can get up from, but nonetheless, I never seen Zion Lexx ruffled as such. Just solely because of that, for me, it makes it worth it now to get on that stage with Seti and show the world that when we come with Torah scholarship, they're with us.
Zion, are you still there? You still
Yes,
there?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you know what? I have to ask this question. I don't mean to bring you back to that point, but I actually have to bring you back to that point. You know what? We want to know. Okay, we saw the last, the very last section of that debate where it got very heated. Fingers were pointing in each other's faces. There was a back and forth of straight shouting. It was like two Rottweilers just going at each other, and it was looking mad crazy. It was looking real crazy. Then both of you literally stood up. I don't know about everybody else, but I know that, my heart was in my chest just pumping hard, like what is about to go down. So I want to know, when the camera actually cut, this is bad. Are you actually at liberty? But when the camera actually cut, what transpired at that moment? What took place?
Oh man, you asked the question certainly that the people want to hear and they deserve to hear. Can somebody drop their mic? Okay. I'm getting feedback. Is somebody's mic still on? Okay, it's fine now. So listen, certainly, actually, guys, the cameras never stopped rolling. Certainly, we had 2 cameras that day. I came with my own camera crew because I told Saneter that he edited the video with Shaka Amos in Shaka Amos's favor so much that people actually said that Shaka won. They cut out the part where Professor Smalls said that I could teach in any university around the world. They cut out the part where Professor Smalls agreed that Hebrew is an Afrocentric language, and they cut out the part where Shaka didn't know that the terms he or she was a pronoun and that he didn't know how to use a calculator. This is all a part of the original video that Saneter edited in favor of Shaka Amos. By virtue of that, I walked in that arena with Seti with my own cameraman, and I just want everybody to know I'm on the record saying this. Both Saneter's camera and my camera was still rolling. Saneter is refusing to show the other footage, and I'm going to also make the very honest statement and let the world know at this time that I was asked by Saneter not to release the second part of that footage, and I'll let you form the conclusion as to why Saneter is asking me not to release it. Think about it.
Whew, if I could drop bombs right now, I'll be dropping some bombs. You know what? If everybody out there is watching this and is loving information that you're hearing right now, please hit us up and give us a big thumbs up. Hit the like button, give us a big thumbs up. You know, let everybody know as well that you're watching Talk with the Titans on Titans TV. So for all those newcomers who've just tuned in fresh, hit the share button right now. Just hit the share button and let everybody know that you're watching Talk with the Titans. You've got Harry Rozenberg here live with us, and we've also got Zion Lexx live with us, giving us an exclusive on what took place with the Sara Suten Seti situation. And of course, I'm going to actually get some information from the Rabbi Harry Rozenberg on his encounter with the brother Polight as well. So please hit the share button, let everybody know that we're live right now. We've got these 2 titans in the building, and it's about to go down.
My brother Kalam.
Yes.
May I say something really quick?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm a person that I like to engage the listening audience so that I can kind of address some of the questions that they're posing while this is live streamed. So I want to say this. When it comes to my debate with Shaka Amos, everyone says, well, Brother Zion, it's clear that you believe you won, but Professor Smalls did a video a week and a half later saying you lost. Well, my friends, again, if anyone was watching the actual live feed, the part that Saneter couldn't edit because it was still live, Saneter closed the show saying Zion Lexx did a hell of a job and Shaka Amos did a good job too. Professor Small said Zion Lexx can teach in any university around the world, and he also had to tell Shaka to practice ma'at because Shaka's behavior was totally contrary to it. When we were done with the debate, the professor told me you are a hell of a debater and you did an excellent job. But a week later, all of a sudden now they're in Atlanta, and now he goes on record to say I did a horrible job? People, I would want to believe that if you're an intelligent individual, that you would not be so naive and you would let people fool you. How does the professor say the day of the actual debate that Zion did an excellent job and can teach in any university around the world, and only a week and a half later go on to say he did a horrible job? That doesn't point towards me. That points towards the person you call Professor James Smalls.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. You know what? This is why it's so wonderful and it's so awesome that we're actually live streaming. It's raw, it's uncut. There is no editing going on. So what you're seeing right now is what you're going to be seeing in the end product for tomorrow, the next day, weeks to come. It's always going to be the same video, no editing. So you could trust Titans TV to keep it real to the core. right now, I want to know though. I want to know, please, audience members. I like to be interactive. Okay, for those of you who saw the live debate between Shaka Ahmos and Zion Lex, or for those of you who actually saw the debate once it was, edited and made, to look real nice quality. I want to know, please, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know who you thought won that debate between Zion Lex and Shaka Ahmos. Okay, let me know. Just type in, is it Zion Lex, or just type in Shaka Ahmos. Just type in the name. And I got a next question for you after you've done that. All right, because I think every single one of us here would love to actually see a debate between Zion Lex and Brother Polight. You know what? This has been a long time coming. It seems as if the Brother Polight is running scared. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. A lot of people have inferred that, when Zion Lex came, he came in the den of lions. When it was, where was it? It was the Kemetic war conference, and he came by himself to stand up on the stage to give his dissertation, and Polight didn't show up. I'm kind of flabbergasted. I want to know actually, Zion, what is the dynamics between you and Polight? Because it seems as though you ruffle Polight's feathers very much so. There was a time when Saneter was doing a live feed, and I can't remember if you said something about pull your skirt down or lift your skirt up or something like that. And no problem. So I want to know, what's the dynamics that's going on between you and the Brother Polight?
So here it is in a nutshell. Polight has never had someone engage him on an intellectual level that I have always, from the outset, engaged him on. Polight is always 3 or 4 intellectual steps ahead of his opponents in a debate. He usually loses most of them with vocabulary, and the aim of genuine communication is to connect with your audience. So when you're dealing with a person like Polight, who will draw for language that he realizes his opponent doesn't understand, he will utilize that to give the impression to the listening audience that somehow, because his opponent cannot draw for those vocabulary words, that deems his opponent, not as scholarly as him. So again, by default, it's making Polight look like he's the more scholarly of the two. Polight absolutely cannot play those games with me because I'm extremely educated. And I actually went to college. And I actually came out with a degree. And I actually have debated in public forums in a college setting. So I am very, very astute and trained in this particular environment. And any debate you've ever seen me in, you've always seen me perform at a very, very high level. I'm a person that has always pulled up the skirt of Brother Polight when I engage him. Of course, he didn't like that particular way of framing it, the language pulling up a skirt, but nonetheless, I'm known to do that to him. I'm known to ruffle his feathers in a way that no one else has accomplished in this. And I do it in a very scholastic way. For instance, the Brother Polight is saying in his very first video about wanting to debate myself, he said that he's an atheist. No less than 2 weeks later, he's on a couch with and Polight now says he's a pantheist of the Kemetic science. Let's just stop for a second and examine those 2 words. The term atheism is broken down as such. A, as a mathematical term, is negative. Theism is the belief in a God. So atheism is no God. I deny the existence of a God. So we understood that was Polight's stance. Again, no less than 2 weeks later, now he is a pantheist of the Kemetic doctrine while still denying the existence of a God. Here's the common sense that I pointed out to him that ruffled his feather once more. My brother Polight, do you understand what the word pantheist means? He responds by saying yes. I say, okay. So if you understand what the word pantheist means, why do you hold that you are both an atheist and a pantheist? One is certainly contradictory of the other. And he said certainly not, and he asked me to explain, and I'll explain it to you once more again. What a pantheist is a compound word. The first part, pan, means all, and theos, or theos, means God. So a pantheist is a person that believes all is God, or i.e., God is manifested in all of the inherent seen and unseen forces of nature and creation. A pantheist does not negate the existence of a God. The only difference between a pantheist and a person who we would call a monotheist is that a monotheist believes in the singularity of a Godhead above all the forces of creation, and a pantheist believes that the sum total of all of the forces of creation is God in essence. That is the only difference. But those two realities still share a common denominator. A pantheist still believes in God. So when I pointed that out to Polight, he now had to retract his statement, and now he has a completely new definition for what a pantheist is. By the way, the definition does not agree with any of the original definitions of what a pantheist is. You see, if Polight wants to make up terms and words and apply logic to it, I don't have a problem with that. Let him do it. But if you're going to go on already established common knowledge, then you can't add to it. I'm sorry, we have to go by what is given.
Wow. So I'll say, Zion is powerful. Again, I'm gonna do this again. For everybody who's now just joining again, please, for all those new ones who've joined in again, I've seen the numbers just keep rising, and I think a lot of people don't know that we're actually on right now. So far we're on like 127 viewers. Okay, please hit the share button now, and let everybody know Zion Lexx is going in. Okay. And now my brother Rabbi Harry Rozenberg is about to go in as well, because I'm going to bring him back into the mix. So please, hit the share button, share on the Facebooks, share on the Googles, share on the Twitters, all the social networks. Let everybody know that we've got these two titans in right now. And if you want to be interactive with them and ask them any questions, type it in the comment section down below. Also, if you want to join the panel later on, when we go off air or right at the end, go to Talk with the Titans Facebook page, and you know what, just sign up in there, and I'll definitely send you the link. Now, Rabbi Harry Rozenberg. Now, I want to know from you, because you was in the battlefield with Brother Polight. You was in a room, filled of vultures ready to pick at you. So I want to know, how do you think your first initial contact with the Brother Polight was like? What are your thoughts on the Brother Polight as well? Because I think from the last show, I don't know if I'm misquoting you, but I know you said that the brother has caught a few L's in his time. So I want to know, what are your thoughts on the Brother Polight and your first interactions with him?
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. I mean, I definitely think he's, obviously we all know he's a smart guy with a lot of potential. So anyone with potential, you should believe in them that they could still do great things. So my hope is in for Brother Polight to be a good light on his community. But at the current stance, I was a little caught off guard by the nature of the conversation when we sat together. I was prepared to go in depth on some intellectual conversation. He pulled out the race card of me, which I was kind of prepared for because he had a YouTube video. You hear me over there? There's an echo.
Okay, let me make sure. Okay, continue.
Okay, great. He had a video released on YouTube with a former basketball player, Ron Artest, open it up, saying he's excited for the debate, and then Brother Polight went on to a Jew racist rant for the next, half hour, 40 minutes. So I kind of had a feeling where he was coming from. I was caught off guard that the first opportunity he had to have a conversation with me went right into that. So it says a lot about what he thinks can or can't happen for his community, because that's a leadership role where I consider not fair. If he's going to take a role and represent the African American community and act as a leader, he's got to come in there with a little bit of a bigger heart, a bigger mind than just to go for the race card.
Okay. Who's just joined us? Okay, Zion Lexx is there. All right. So you know what? because I don't think you fully had the opportunity to actually delve into your plans that you're proposing to the community. I would like to actually give you the opportunity right now to kind of give us an overview again of your plans and solutions, or even the no. Let me backtrack. Give us an overview of the problems that the community, the Israelite community, have been facing, and the solutions collectively you lot have come up with and could possibly share with the community over here in the UK as well as in the Americas.
Okay, I appreciate that. First and foremost, I'd just like to make it known because, when I'm speaking, I have a disadvantage because there's people still calling me a devil and think that I'm an imposter Jew. So I'd just like to make a quick announcement to put that flame out and immediately. Most people who are Israelites, Hebrew Israelites from the African American or African diaspora, their claim is that the original people of the book were dark-skinned, which I'm not here to... I'd just like to make a quick announcement. I'm not, if someone got to go on mute, yeah. I'm not here to agree or disagree with that because what I'm trying to say is it's almost irrelevant. Well, not completely irrelevant, but if you see that in the time when the Israelites were in Babylon, which is a fascinating story over here, and they had the story of Purim with Queen Esther and Mordecai. If you see at the end of the story, there was a conversion. People became part of Judah, and this conversion spanned 127 nations. This was from Africa to India. There was a mass conversion, and the term that the scripture uses is referring to Yehudim, to become Yehudim, equals. And now you don't see anything after that they weren't allowed or what color they were, and this was happening at the time of prophecy. So if you want to tell me from 127 nations spanning all across the world, what the world was back then, everyone was one color, and their children remained one color. So to come up and just say that off the bat, that the people of Israel today are exclusive to one color, is just completely offshot. It's wrong, and it's not aligned with the actual doctrines. So I just wanted to open up with that. So now all future words that come out of my mouth, the word imposter is not going to work because the nature of the doctrine of the Torah allows any human to be involved who takes it serious and brings it upon himself. And that was an evolution of the Torah and an undeniable part of the Torah. Okay, now furthermore, I'd like to continue what you asked me, kind of like my vision and my plan. Which I'd like to save the bulk of it for the debate, but we can go into overhead view. First off, I had a very interesting thought today. I had heard a lecture a few months ago of an African-American male who had experience with certain plants that have healing properties to them, and it kind of helped him deal with the trauma he went through with his ancestors, and go over the way he was raised and why he was raised that way, and understanding and come to peace with certain things and opening up a new chapter in his life. And certain of these plants I believe that exist out there that could help the African American community. This is just a thought I had today. Are actually found in Africa, and they're currently illegal in the United States, and would put someone in jail. So I think the first conversation as far as just healing goes is if your community was brought from Africa and you're in an exile right now, you should have access to your plants that you came from without having to go through any legal systems. Now there's some churches in America, Native American churches, and they have access to their own medicines that would be deemed illegal, but for them it's considered legal because they have an identity and they're able to show that this is their culture. There's no reason that shouldn't be existing amongst the African American community. They should have certain laws that apply to them, loopholes that won't apply to every American citizen because they were taken from somewhere where they had access to certain things. Now they're not given access to those. If anyone wants to look further into that, what I'm speaking about with certain plants that help reset neurological pathways in the brain and trauma, they could reach out afterwards and follow up. I'll be glad. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that in the debate. But the overall plan right now, which is with not my plan necessarily, it's the trajectory of the world, but I think I could offer something, is to help decentralize communities right now, because right now we're in a poor situation where there's so many middlemen between us and our resources. How come Brother Polight's not sitting there asking what happened to Nikola Tesla, what happened to free electricity 100 years ago, and why was the financing pulled from him, and why is the U.S. government holding all of his patents? What happened to the things that are meant to empower communities, and how come this corporation is standing between us and them? So there's a very clear and simple way how we could decentralize communities and unite, and it's going to rely on the people. Most of the people calling out the corporations that they feel like they're up against, they're the ones financing it. They're the ones supporting. They're going to the movies. They're doing all these things and putting money into the belly of the beast, and then they're complaining about it after. So things have to happen in unity. If you want to do something, you're going to have to do it united, and it's not going to be one color. It's going to be the citizens of the world and the citizens of America. And if you're not even going to give the time to hear me out or hear my thoughts on this, and you're just going to play the race card, I absolutely know you're not qualified to be a community leader.
Ooh, fiery words by our Rabbi Rozenberg. You know what? I'm actually going to sling this out there. I know the camera wasn't on me. Okay, I'm going to sling this out there. I want to know, because you know what? Do you personally judge a man by the color of his skin or by the content of his character? I want to know, are you open and willing to hear, to listen in, to take in what the rabbi has to offer? Or are you immediately going to shut your ears, shut your heart, and shut your soul down from taking in information that can potentially help you just because of the color of his skin? I want to know. Please let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Because I don't know, was Martin Luther cooning when he gave that speech about judging a man by the content of his character and not by the color of his skin? Or is there something in that? Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, I'm going to open it up now. I want to hear what our audience members actually have to say based upon the information that they've heard so far. So who would like to speak first? Let me know. Give me a sign if you would like to speak first, and I'll definitely open you up.
Issa the Great, bro.
Okay, Issa, go ahead.
It seems like my words are being strawmanned. My issue, or that Brother Zion Lexx misunderstood my issue. I'm not saying I have a problem with him, you know, holding another person who's Caucasian or Chinese or whatever color as his brother. I'm saying specifically when I asked Harry about our situation as black people across the world globally, he pushed it aside, and even now he's calling it the race card. Those are the words of someone that doesn't care. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying he doesn't care. I'm saying the type of terminology he's using and the fact that he's not really looking into it, so that, you know, you want to look at the symptoms and therefore you seek to heal it. But just by saying, well, you know, I've got this vision and this beautiful heaven I'm calling you to, the fact that he's saying it that way means he wants us to trust him and his vision, which means he's presenting himself as the white savior. Do you understand? So it's not the point of him just being white. It's the point that he's not even looking into our situation. He's looking at it from his own perspective. He's not even bothering to say, well, let me actually really see what it is that they're angry about, that they may hate him about, whatever the issue is. It's just like, you know, I know it all. You primitive blacks, you know, your opinion doesn't matter. I will lead you to heaven. That kind of garbage.
I mean, you know, let me just interrupt for a second over here, if that's okay.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I mean,
let me go after, man. Let me go after, please.
Yeah,
Go ahead. And then mute your mics, please.
He's coming here and he's trying to imply that, first of all, I have no knowledge of what their community's feeling. I don't know why that would be said. It's very clear I'm building with the community. I have brothers within the community that we work very close with for, let's say, 8 to 10 plus years already right now. So if you think that I'm just coming out one day meditating on what I think is wrong and I'm going to come up and make a solution, then that's wrong. And part of my plan, part of my effort, my platform involves people from all races and colors. And the fact that you keep speculating that the terminology I'm using is implying negative emotions towards your community is also showing what I'm trying to go back is that there's a trauma within you and you're not trusting me without even evaluating me. You didn't speak to me, you don't know me much, but you're making a lot of statements on what I'm thinking and I'm feeling that I've never expressed, and you keep referring to my version as heaven. I'm trying to live on earth. I'm trying to make a good planet because I share it with you. I'm not trying to talk about the world to come. If you want to talk about the world to come, we could have that conversation, but I'm just trying to have a human-to-human conversation about the right now, the planet Earth.
I said heaven on earth, so please don't strawman me again. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Issa. Thank you. Okay, please, everybody mute your mics. I'm actually going to open it up now to Garfield. Garfield, go ahead.
Hey, peace, Zion. How you doing, brother? And peace,
Peace,
to the
peace,
hey,
my
peace
brother.
to the rabbi.
Shalom.
Hey, Zion, shalom, peace. I have an advice for you, man. Why don't you, knowing your background, why don't you reach out to Seti, right? And I don't know if you guys have a phone number relationship. Reach out to Seti, and why don't you do the debate with Seti without Saneter being involved, right? Just
That's
a
a
suggestion. Just a
that's a
suggestion.
great question. I would totally be up to that, and I'm sure we can make that possible. But from what I understand, SETI does definitely have a great deal of camaraderie with Sarnetta, and the very thought of that I know would be obstructive to what Sarnetta is doing, and I'm sure Sarnetta would coerce him into not doing that. But I think that that's an excellent point. I would be all for it, but I don't really see that as plausible because I know from what I see that SETI is extremely loyal to Sarnetta's platform, as well as the fact that we all know Sarnetta will definitely be in his ear and let him know you do that and you banned from HOK again. If you think I banned you after now C, you're gonna see what you're gonna get after this.
Hey, also let me make a quick comment to the rabbi, but let me say this regarding the debate with Shaka. I think it was one of the worst debates ever. It's not because of you, but I just think it was one of the worst debates ever. I was watching it for like an hour and I just turned it off. I just thought the whole Zion, you don't fit to debate certain people. And I think
Thank you.
that's what makes people perturbed or get them perturbed when they talk to you. And I think you see, I don't know, man. Certain debates you shouldn't even be a part of. That's just my opinion anyway. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to if you just want to debate for the sake of debating, everybody's gonna go down the middle anyway. Zion won
Right.
because he's a Hebrew and I'm a Hebrew, or Seti or whoever else won because he's Kemetic or supports the Nile Valley. That's
Right.
always going to be the outcome. But if you're gonna have a intellectual debate and sit down, you got to pick and choose who you're going to debate with, and it doesn't have to be anybody in the Kemetic community either. It could be somebody else totally different. It could be David Imhotep. It could be somebody who is, you know what I'm saying? You don't have
I,
to pick
can,
somebody from within the
can I
community
use
who we have as.
can I use the time to make this statement?
Yeah, go
Definitely, go
ahead.
ahead.
Because I
So
got to ask you about something, but go ahead.
there are certainly some people in the conscious community that I believe are more than worthy for a debate, and I would love to debate them. At the top of my list, personally, I would love to debate and engage Asar Imhotep because
Mm-hmm.
he is linguist of the Bantu language. He proposes himself as such to be, very good in the etymological origins of African-based languages, and
Mm-hmm.
that is my strength from a Hebrew perspective and from an Eastern perspective because, unbeknownst to a lot of people, I'm also very, very good with the cuneiform, which comes out of Sumeria. I'm actually very, very good with that. So I share a very, very special interest in the Eastern languages, and he has an interest in the African-based languages. And I think that if me and him were to debate, that would truly be a scholastic debate. Another person that I would actually love to engage is Sanjeti. Those two at the top of my list. Everyone else I think is a waste of my time except Polite. I want to debate Polite because I believe that his practices are going to destroy the conscious community. And that is the reason why I would like to debate him to expose him. But in terms of scholastic contribution on the highest level, I see Sanjeti and Asar Imhotep as one of the two foremost people that I would love to engage.
Wow, that's good. You know what? Amon Ra squad up. You know what?
Hey,
Amon
let
Ra
me.
squad. Hold on,
Hey,
hold on.
Kalam, I'm sorry. Can I say something to the rabbi real quick? It's just
One
20
second.
seconds.
You're gonna
All
do
right.
it right afterwards. You're gonna do it
All
right
right.
after.
Cool.
All right, that's Garfield from Team Osiris. For those of you who do not already know, um, you know what? Let me just do a quick round, real quickly, because you know what? I think a lot of people who are new to the channel, need to actually get familiar with the channel. So right now you're actually tuned into Titans TV, and we have quite a few shows actually popping off on the channel. One of our most long-running shows so far is obviously what you're listening to right now, Talk with the Titans. We've had so many greats come on to the show already. We've had Team Osiris, Brother Ngozi, Brother Kufu, Brother Garfield, Konsu come on the show. We've had Red Pill come on to the show, Gano Grills. You know, we've even had a Babalawo from Nigeria to come on to the show as well. Irritated Genie, Dr. Ali Muhammad, the Amun Ra Squad. You know, Dalian Adolfo from the Ancestral Voices over here in the UK, as well as ISUPK, Mashak Mayam, who's come into the studio as well. So you know what? Talk with the Titans is definitely a show that you need to watch if you're watching and you're in tune with the Saneter TV platform, the Black News 102 platform. I have to hail them up, as well as Baba TV. I see him shooting some of the Amun Ra squad, Team Osiris family members today. So definitely, please subscribe to the channel, tune in to the Talk with the Titans, discussions and interviews, as well as presentations. And of course, I don't know if you love seeing it, but over here in the UK, we actually get it popping as well. We have something that's called Speaker's Corner that we do literally every single week religiously. I'm talking about whether it's rain, sleet, or snow. I'm telling you right now, Sunday just gone, I was out there. My toes were turning into icicles. Rain was pouring down, but we was out there, having some fun, debating. We had a Muslim versus Jews. We've been having quite a lot of Jews actually join in and actually have a lot of debates and discussions with us as well. Obviously, black atheist. Black atheism is on the rise as well. So please check out the different playlists. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and stay in tune with Talk with the Titans, because we actually get it in. Next show is actually on Wednesday, and we have a Ifa practitioners. We've got 2 Ifa practitioners, Babalawo and his wife, coming in to give us a talk about the Orishas and the practice of divination. So please tune in for that as well. Okay. So yeah, I'm actually going to pass it back. I had to do a quick little promo for those people who are actually tuning in and don't know nothing about Talk with the Titans as well. Please give us a big like if you're loving the information that you're hearing. And as always, just share the link like crazy. Let everybody know about the platform. Let everybody know we've got Harry Rozenberg in here right now giving us some exclusive, as well as Lexx giving us some exclusives. So I know, Garfield, you have something to ask the rabbi. So go ahead and
please
ask
ask
the
a
rabbi.
question when he's done too, Kalam?
Of course, Courtney, it's you next. Then it's our brother Igbo Hebrew after that.
Hey, peace to the rabbi, and I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to ask you a question, not thinking about you as somebody who is quote-unquote white or Jewish. I'm just going to ask you a general question. With what you're putting forward as a plan, do you think that you're offering something new to the community that you feel, based on your experience with the community on a whole, as far as a non is there a no you know what let me ask this, is there a non-believer element to what you're bringing to the community? Can there be non-believers involved? And can you, based on your research for the 8 to 10 years you have worked with the community with whatever capacity, do you feel the information coming from you is wise, or should there be like a surrogate that should bring the information that you're bringing instead of you being the face of it? I'm not saying it because I'm gonna be real honest with you. We're a very prejudiced society as far as whether you're white or black, and whether we're hurt over slavery or not, we have a natural mistrust for the government, and we have a natural mistrust for people who are non-black. So do you feel having a surrogate instead of you being the face of it would be a wiser way to go? Or do you feel that you have to be the person who is putting the information out as far as a plan? Thank you.
Okay, Shalom. Thank you. I appreciate the question. I'd like to respond twofold. One is my vision, my plan, what I'm trying to bring forth. I don't believe it's exclusive for the African American community or the the African American diaspora. It's actually for the humans of the world. But I do believe it will still be very relevant for the African American community, and I believe they may be very eager to help me out with it. Secondly is, regarding being the face of it, believe it or not, I actually have stage fright. I very much dislike being in the public eye. I dislike speaking on stages. I dislike all of it. It gives me the shakes. But I'm doing it right now because there's no one else doing it, and I'm very passionate about it. However, it will be known by the debate. I do have some very influential people from the African American community on my board and working with me, who will be the, not the face of it, but an equalized team of, an agreed vision. So I can't say any names right now, just for whatever reasons of promotion. But be surprised that I will very quickly lower myself from the podium when the time allows it. Because, like I said, I got stage fright.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to open it up now to our sister, Team Set, Courtney, to give her a voice.
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, I'm not like my brother Garfield. I'm about to ask my questions with my eyes and my ears wide open. I'm not shutting my eyes. I'm going to say exactly how I feel. And I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm not trying to be discriminatory or anything, but I just need to understand. First, I want to know what exactly is your, like, what do you wish to gain? Like, what do you wish to accomplish by coming to a community where basically most of the people who are leaders in that community are interested in the general well-being of their own people? And I don't really understand when you say that somebody who challenges what you're doing is playing the race card. Because just like you mentioned earlier, you said that Issa is probably suffering from some trauma. Well, we as a people, we are all suffering from some type of trauma. And you as a Jewish man probably understand that because your people suffer from some trauma. But the difference between where most Jews, I guess white Jews are, you guys actually organize, you come together because of the things that you suffered, and you actually have things in place that are a benefit to your own people, and nobody questions that. So I just want to know, because if me as a black woman, I don't think that I could go to some of the places where you probably go to as a white Jewish man and tell other white Jews what's best for their community. So what I want to know is, why is it that someone is playing the race card when they want to know how you feel that you can come in and tell somebody of a different persuasion what's best for their own community when you're not a part of that community? When white Jews do it, and nobody bats an eye. It's not racist when white Jews say that nobody could tell them what's best for their own community.
Right. Well, first and foremost, I believe that someone's going to go mute for a sec. There we go. First and foremost, no, it's all good. I appreciate your question and your honesty. And I do think that when you say, your community needs to, unite and build themselves up, etc., I think that there is really not going to be any safe future for any community if we're doing it as individual communities. I think that all fractioned communities need to unite under one global community with a global voice and a global vision that we could all agree on, because most of the borders dividing the states right now were made by men who had egos and jobs and salaries to make those borders, and those borders didn't reflect real lines. So now that you see all this global chaos in the world and these borders dissolving, what's going to be the organization? What's going to be the society of the future? If we're just trying to stick to our own colors and our own communities, if I'm just saying, no, it's me and the Jews for ourselves, you and the African diaspora for yourselves, we're not going to get anywhere, because there is an agenda to keep us fractured, and we have to always remind ourselves every day that the goal is to unite. And secondly, I'm not saying the race card comes in when someone disagrees with me, as you suggested. I would love it if I threw out my ideas and someone said, "Hey, that's not the best idea. Here's how I could add to your idea. Here's a better idea." I'm saying the race card gets played in because literally people aren't hearing my ideas, and the reason is because they're calling me a white devil. So I'm not saying the race card. I'm not throwing it out there for naught. I'm actually saying that's actually what's happening. So that's my answer.
Thank you. I'm going to open it up now to our brother Igbo Hebrew to have his voice as well.
Thank you, Kalam, Shalom, everyone, Shalom, Brother Zion, Lexx, and Rabbi Harry, and everyone in the room at the moment. I just wanted to comment on a few things, particularly the race card issue. That's the fact. It's not like he's saying it and he wasn't done. We all saw it on the video. also during the times of the comments. While we're speaking here, if you read through the comments, it's a lot of people from these communities, so-called conscious communities. If you're conscious and you're looking for solution, and the first thing you do is to play sort of a race card and look at people's color and not the content of their heart or what they come with. You are already on your own, positioning yourself in a defense quarter where you're not bringing something positive to what is being discussed. Example of that, referencing Jewish people, and you saying Jewish people, and you put in a white or black. I'm black, I'm colored, I'm Jewish. So I don't understand it when we tend to speak on issues that affect everyone, and rather than discuss as a global universal family looking for solution, and we're playing race card even in the discussion in here, and people are not ready to even acknowledge the fact that they're playing that race card, and you're asking someone to acknowledge the fact that he complains that someone plays a race card. It's a race card that has been played even in here, and we're not looking at the solution. People has not heard him out. He's brought a solution, a proposal. The community has not heard him out. And you stood as a community leader, condemned it outrightly without even hearing from them. First, that you've already placed a condition that he's probably got sort of conspiracy theory that he's come with. Because this is always the idea every time within this community. I don't know why it's like that. But people has got to calm down and listen up. At least.
Excellent point, my brother.
Can I actually respond to that?
One moment, you will be able to respond. You just mute your mics, everybody, because there is some type of feedback going on. So also, please type away in the comment section. I'm reading your comments, and I'm actually going to start pulling up some comments very shortly. But before I do that, actually, my brother Basim has actually just reminded me to actually kind of, again, plug the Patreon account. Our Patreon account is basically a site that's set up where you can donate on a monthly occurrence, or literally just donate one-off amount to keep the channel running. A lot of people have actually complained, you know what, there's too many ads on there. There's too many ads. What you don't realize is that YouTube is built off of the ad system, where in order for the creators such as ourselves to actually earn some money, to actually support the show and keep it running, if you actually know the type of the bills that you have to pay just to keep the show running in terms of video editing software, camera equipment. If you see right now, we've got like thousands of pounds of equipment set up right now coming out of my own pocket. You know, my family's just looking at me like, you know what, you're a bit crazy, you know, like you're actually spending, you know what, your evenings all the way till 4 o'clock in the morning to absolute strangers and spending thousands of pounds to allow other people to have a voice, but would they actually support you back in return? And the question is, there's about 4 people that actually support the show. But if you actually do have a heart and do want to support the show and see it continue running, and if you do actually complain about the ads, literally this site has been up for near enough a year now, and all you have to do is pay $200 collectively. That's literally, I don't know, that's literally 20 people spending $10 a month, or literally 200 people spending $1 a month to actually remove all the ads from the YouTube platform. Is literally there just to actually cover the cost of actually putting on the shows. Not even my time, not even my resources, but just to cover the cost of putting on these shows. Please donate. You know, I'm not going to ask you to donate, but if you do feel it in your heart to donate, donate. So yeah, that's my quick plug. Thank you, Basim. Basim is one of our patrons who actually supported the show. We've actually got Wayne as well, who's another supporter of the show, and we've also got another brother called Alexander, and a beautiful sister who actually donated $50 right at the beginning of the year. So I have to give thanks to her as well. So yeah, let me bring it back now. So who actually wanted to speak? I believe it was Courtney. So Courtney, go ahead.
Okay, so maybe if I say it differently, it won't seem as if I'm playing the race card or being prejudiced or not trying to hear the rabbi out, even though I asked him what was his motivation. I'm a black woman. I'm not Torah-based. I don't claim to be an Israelite or anything like that. The rabbi is a white Jewish man. I feel personally that I cannot relate to probably a lot of the experiences that he has in his own life. I would not go where he goes as a white Jewish man or wherever he worships and tell the people in his synagogue or congregation how they should behave or how they should act as white Jews. So that's basically the point that I'm trying to make. How can I, who has little experience or no experience, living the way that he lives, feel as if I can go into his community and tell him anything about his community? I'm not a part of his community. That's not being racist to me. I think that's just being honest.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for clearing that up. First of all, I apologize. I forgot to mention my motivation, as you pointed out. This all started for me quite a while ago. My motivation was actually to enjoy my life, and it's very hard for me to enjoy my life with a lot of suffering going on around me. So I pressed pause on enjoying my life to try to make sure everyone else around me can enjoy theirs, so then I could resume enjoying mine. And let's say 10, 12 years later, I'm still trying. Even though I'm a grateful man, I've definitely given up a part of my existence for the betterment of humanity. I'm not trying to get any applause for it. I'm just letting you know my motivation because you asked. Secondly, if you came to the Jewish people, the white Jewish people, any Jewish person with an idea, a startup, a concept, that you're going to let us know, hey, your food may get healthier, it may get cheaper, it may get localized, your education may get better. Here's a platform. I guarantee you the Jewish people hear your idea. If you come to us and tell us, I don't think you should be praying 3 times a day, maybe pray 2 times a day, we'll say, well, that's a little bit out of context, So I'm not coming to your community and trying to get involved with your culture. I'm trying to get into your community and get involved in the basic standards of existence we should experience as humans on Earth.
Well said. Are you there, Rabbi?
Yes, that was my point. That was my moment.
Okay, so I'm going to open this.
Something?
Sorry?
May I rejoin and say something as well?
Of course, Zion, come on.
All right. So the main idea of us coming on this show was to clarify our stance in this debate, as well as for myself to clarify why is it that I joined Harry, and why is it that I embraced Harry and my view of color with respect to Torah. I want to point this out. What we find in the Kemetic conscious community is a lot of hypocrisy, and I'll start here. There was a debate that took place in the 80s between John Henry Clark and Mary Lefkowitz. Mary Lefkowitz held the position that Europeans are the authors of civilization. Of course, John Henry Clark, an Afrocentric scholar and teacher, held the antagonistic view. He believes that the Afro-Asiatics were the pioneers of creation. Mary Lefkowitz had a partner on her team, and so did John Henry Clark. John Henry Clark's partner was a white man named Martin Bernal, who wrote the book Black Athena. And in the book written by the white author Martin Bernal, the book is entitled Black Athena, he traces the roots of classical civilization back to Afro-Asiatic kingdoms. This is why John Henry Clark aligned himself with him, because this was one of the first European scholars of the day to go on record to make such a statement. When people initially questioned me and asked me what interests me most about the rabbi, I said the first thing that caught my attention was that he was able to open the Torah and elucidate things that we say in our own community. In our community, we teach that the original Hebrews are people of color. Rabbi Harry Rozenberg is on video also lending his opinions to the idea that he believes that some of the original Hebrews are people of color as well. That is what initially caught my response to Rabbi Harry Rozenberg. Immediately, I was chastised by the conscious so-called Kemetic community. But the person that they deem to this day as their master teacher, John Henry Clark, is on YouTube right now, where you can pull up John Henry Clark versus Mary Lefkowitz. And John Henry Clark's teammate was a white man named Martin Bernal, who wrote Black Athena. So with that being said, before we look to and call me a coon, I would like you to really examine that terminology and then point the finger at the man you call your master teacher.
Ooh. Wow. See, that's a moment of realization right there. Zion be scoring them points. You know what, Zion? There's actually another issue that was raised.
I was gonna respond to that in 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Okay, give me one moment to just
All right.
elucidate this point, because we're gonna wrap it up real soon, and I'm gonna open it up into a type of dialogue where people can phone in and actually have their say. So I'm gonna be very apologetic from now that we're gonna have to start ejecting certain people who are in the group already who had their say, so we can allow new members to come in. Because I'm gonna actually post the panel link down below in the description box. So if you want to have your say, I'm gonna do it very soon. I'm gonna open it up to everybody. But what I'm gonna say right now is I want Zion actually to touch upon whether is the conscious movement, like the consciousness, the new hustle, that's is it basically a new hustle that's taking place, or are people actually living the life that they espouse? But I'm gonna just leave that there, settling in people's minds for just a moment. I'm gonna go back to Garfield, and then we're gonna revisit that question. So go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the whole Mira Lefkowitz thing, it's a very good example. He's making a very strong point. My whole thing was, why are we allowing the headlines to be polite and Mr. Rozenberg? Because I said it 2 weeks ago on Talk with the Titans that this is the new Mira Lefkowitz, John Henry Clark thing. But if you look at that, you look at Mira Lefkowitz, you look at John Henry Clark, you look at Mr. Rozenberg, and you look at Polight, there's no comparison as far as what's being pushed. But the issue is somebody wants to be the premier person in the community. So whether Zion knows this or not, he's like an unwilling partner to the elevation of a certain person to be the head guy in the quote unquote black community. Because with this debate with Harry, it's pushing this person to a whole nother level. So I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. Zion is actually right. Some of us are being hypocrites. But it's just that we don't look at it as we don't acknowledge, and I'm gonna say we as a whole community don't acknowledge Harry at all. We don't know this guy. Maybe if he was in the sense of someone coming up like Amir Lefkowitz and so forth, maybe. But nobody knows this guy, Harry. So they're like, who's this guy coming in the community trying to debate Polight? So that's how you got to look at it too. But I'm saying that we have willingly or unwittingly put this guy at a pedestal right now because of this conversation that's going to happen. Because I don't think it's even a debate. I think it's just a conversation.
And I want to add to what the brother's saying. Can we have a mic muted? Okay, thank you. I want to add to what the brother Garfield is saying. He is absolutely right. From the outset, I realized that the only reason why Polight said, Lex, I'll debate you, but Seti got to be in the building. I said, why? He said, well, I like my brother there for support. I said, are you telling me you need Seti there just to debate me? He said, nah, but I just want him in the building. I said, fine, you can even bring him on stage. I'll debate both of y'all, if that's what it takes. Then they called me a week and a half later, and Polight said, all right, can you get the rabbi that was in the video that was calling the Hebrews black? I said, yeah, I can get him. But I said, what is that about? Do you want to have a separate dialogue with him? And then at that time, they told me, no, if you want to debate Polight, you got to have the rabbi on your team. And from that point onward, I immediately realized the game. Polight once again was ducking me, was dodging, and was running. Because if you're paying attention like Garfield is, from the very beginning of Polight introducing this debate, all of a sudden it's no longer a debate between Zion Lex and Polight. Now it's a debate between Polight and the rabbi. And Polight has set it up so that this debate takes place in Harlem. So i.e. that's the home team. Polight has also set it up that he knows that the conscious comedic platforms are extremely aggressive towards a European Jew coming into the community, which I will take the time to say rightfully so in a lot of cases, because outside of Harry, I have never met a European Jew who spoke the way Harry spoke. I'm being extremely genuine and extremely real in the moment as well. So I get it. I understand it. For me, the experience of Harry is a completely different experience altogether. Because personally, again, when I've interacted with a number of Jews, I've encountered European Jews, I've encountered racism as well. So I'm not speaking from a coon perspective, I'm talking real and honest right now. But again, if anyone is paying attention, Polight is using this particular platform to become the HNIC of the conscious community. All the while, everybody rooting for him is forgetting that he is screwing everybody in your community. Young Pharaoh just came out of jail and took the little bit of money he had and the little bit of knowledge he learned in jail and said, you know what, let me invest in this status correction I was reading about and I'm hearing about from Brother Polight. And he did so and was jerked and was robbed and chased the brother down for months and couldn't get a response until he spoke with Saneter and until he made several videos about it. This is not Polight jerking the Moors. This is not Polight jerking the Hebrews. This is anyone outside of the Kemetic community. This is Polight swindling in your own doors, and yet you turn a blind eye to it. So don't be surprised why Hebrews turn the barrel of the gun to you and ask you, where is the ma'at that your community says that you practice? Because if ma'at is the base that you stand on, how do you allow Polight to do that? Please explain that to us.
This is Kufu from Team Osiris. Can I respond, please?
Respond, my brother. Respond.
Okay, I would ask a controversial question to that point. Like, we did a show and we brought us some information about people and their moral character and their laws and how they should govern themselves in the community that you yourself are on platforms with. And you know, their background is skeptical and has questions about it, dealing with certain things that most people would seem as, you know, not worthy of praise or worthy of leadership. So my question would be pointed right back to you. Like, you're presenting yourself as being moral and upright, and then pointing the finger but you still have a speck in your eye as well. I mean, I'm sure people can change their characters and grow from certain things, but you're seen leading and doing lectures with certain people who have things in their past, things that they've done that is even worse than the things that you said Polight has done. So how would you respond to that?
Zion, that question was to you.
Oh, I was speaking with the mic muted. I didn't realize my mic was still muted. So the first thing I want to say is that I believe that your question is trying to evade the concept I just perfectly conveyed. So first and foremost, I'll say this. What you're calling into question is my own moral fortitude as to why I would co-sign a person like the mighty Hebrew. You see, unlike my brother, I'm not a chatty patty. If we go and talk about a person, let's just say his name. So clearly he's talking about my association with the mighty Hebrew. And let me make this clear. My association with the mighty Hebrew is the mighty Hebrew jumped on the bandwagon to say I support Zion Lexx. There was never a statement in my direction that went to say that I deem whatever was in his past right or wrong. But what I do know is that the man has a past, and his past record is sealed, and whatever he did go through, he did his time. Polight also came out of jail. From what he says, he murdered somebody. You don't ever see me in a platform bringing up that Polight was a former murderer, because Polight changed. What I'm talking about, my brother, is in the present. So while you're looking for a scapegoat by bringing up a matter of the mighty Hebrew from his past, I'm talking about what Polight is doing in the present. So why not address the present? You couldn't dare to act like that was a conscious statement. That statement was full of fuckery, for lack of a better term.
Can I say something?
Kalam.
Can I say something? Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
don't know.
Go ahead, Mr.
I would like to respond, but go ahead, sister.
Okay, well, I'll say this. I personally, I'm not trying to defend anybody. If I was sitting on a platform with Polight or whoever else, I would have my own questions for Polight. And honestly, my questions that I asked, I'm only speaking for myself. My questions that I asked was, I asked the rabbi. I didn't ask Zion. I want to know what why he was motivated to do what he's doing. So I'm not the type of person that because I'm team all set, I'm gonna sit here and say that I agree with everything that Polight is doing or everything that Shaka Atmos is doing, everything that Seti. I don't. So if I was on a platform sitting on a live stream with Seti or Polight, I have questions for them just as well. It's not one-sided. I try to be fair in all things. So I just want to say that.
Kalam, can I speak, please? Kalam.
Go ahead, my brother. You can speak.
Oh yeah, thank you. So I just wanted to also ask this as a question, rather than just as a statement on its own. Is the debate meant to be between Zion Lexx, Polight, Seti, and Rabbi Harry, or is this debate meant to be between Saneter, Zion Lexx, Rabbi, and Polight? Because Saneter, who's meant to be like a judge, all behind the scene, speaks from behind the scene and jumps into the conversation. Is that what the debate was meant to be?
Excellent point. Zion?
Okay, so let me address that question really quick. So everyone knows, I'm assuming by this time that I came out of the debate because I was, contemplating on the opinion of the Israelite community, and the majority of the Israelite community that actually supports me did not support me in the debate, joining the debate with the rabbi. And because to a certain extent, I believe a leader and teacher should be open to the cry of the people, I certainly pulled out and deemed that maybe it wasn't the wisest choice. I actually reached back out to Sara to tell him that that decision didn't sit quite well with me, because irrespective of whatever emotions were flying in the air of my community, I understand that from a Torah perspective, law is law, and we're talking about divine law. And anyone that genuinely practices that, we embrace that individual. The land of Kemet was not a land distinct to any one tribe. The land of Kemet had several tribes. From what I understand, there were 42 nomes. And even within those 42 nomes, there were a plethora of other subdivisions, meaning that there were several nationalities that made up the Kemetic people. With that being said, anyone who embraced Ma'at was a brother. So when we go back in mind in ancient Kemet, who are a people of many different lineages living in one land, anyone who embraced the order of Ma'at would have been called their brother. So I want to add this to that statement too. Why don't you look at the video on Black News 102 with Brother Ankh from the Iron Rod Squad, where he holds up a cartoon DVD of children of color, and there's a white girl and a Chinese girl on there. Brother Ankh said that the conscious Kemetic community are hypocrites because of the white girl that's on there and the Chinese girl that's on there, and them telling him that he shouldn't endorse that cartoon because there's a white girl on there. At that time, Ankh correctly said, so let me ask you a question. You think when Ma'at is global around the world, we can pick and choose who's allowed to practice it? He said, my brother, if Ma'at is the order of the universe, everyone has the ability to practice it. So here goes the hypocrisy again in your own community. Here it is, a pillar in your community, Brother Ankh from the Amun-Ra squad, held up the cartoon box and defended the idea of having a white person on there and said Ma'at is for all people. Now, certainly, I understand Torah better than any caller on the line outside of the Hebrew community can certainly speak from the Torah in an authoritative tone when I say that the Torah makes it clear that righteousness is not measured by the outward appearance. Righteousness is measured by the spirit and the actions in concert with one's speech. And if we was to look at and measure or quantify the order of Ma'at, and we would now apply that to the current leaders in your community, you would have to admit that several of your leaders fall short of what you call Ma'at. So I'm not following the leaders in your community simply because they're black. I'm following a person because they're under divine law. And that's what we need to get back to. Follow those who embrace divine law. Because when you follow color, you wind up drinking the Kool-Aid.
Courtney, I saw that your mic was open. So did you want to speak?
I mean, to a certain extent, I agree with him. I'm not saying that, and I think this is the thing, the point that keeps getting lost. Just because somebody screams Ma'at doesn't mean that they're righteous. Just the same way, just because someone screams Torah doesn't mean that they're righteous. I mean, I don't really understand what. I don't understand the point.
I just agree. Zion, go ahead. Zion, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll also say this. I'm agreeing absolutely with Courtney as well on the note that just because someone screams Ma'at does not mean that that person is practicing Ma'at. And just because a person screams Torah doesn't mean that that person is actually practicing Torah. So again, we cannot allow consciousness to evade righteousness. In other words, you cannot solely embrace somebody because of the value or content of melanin underneath the subdermis of their skin or other precious organs in their body. What about the Ma'at that is coming from them? What about the Torah-based practices that are coming from them? Because certainly there have been people that have proposed to practice Ma'at, but they can be seen in videos wearing blouses and women's hairstyles. And I'm sure that that's not Ma'at. Certainly there's men that say they practice Torah that clearly don't practice Torah as well based on what we see in the street. So again, if you're going to measure character, measure it by the ability to act on what one is speaking upon. And that goes for both communities, because you can't shout Ma'at and you are not practicing Ma'at, and you cannot shout Torah and you are not practicing Torah. How about we practice Torah and let the people shout that out for us?
Wow.
So then, can I ask him a question? I'm sorry.
Afterwards, please, Max. You know, the brother has been sending out several shots into the community. I know my brother Ankh from the Amun Ra squad must definitely have something to say to the brother in response, as well as Shaka Ahmos, which I think he was alluding to prior, but I don't know. Let me not even actually put his name into the mix. So yes, Courtney, you definitely do have something.
Shaka. I just want to make that clear. I mean Shaka Amos from the Kemetic community, who can be seen wearing blouses and women hairstyles, which I'm sure is not Ma'at. I just want to make that clear.
Damn, shots fired. It's like that. It gets like that sometimes on Talk with the Titans, you know. All right. I can see a lot of you lot are actually typing away and, you know, letting people join in. I could see that we had at least 180 people. We're now at 175, 176 is now going up, 177 people who are here live with us at this present moment in time. It's absolutely wonderful. Let me see. I'm going to try to quickly go into the comment section. Yes, okay, yep. People do want the link to come in to join the panel to actually ask the brother Zion some questions, as well as the Rabbi Rozenberg some questions. So we're literally gone past the 90-minute mark. So you know what, we're limited for the time now. We've got about 20 minutes left within inside of the show. So I'm going to open it up for the panel members to have their say, and post the link in the description box very shortly. Sister, please have your say.
Let me go after, please, bro.
This is going to be my last question.
1 second. We're going to be Courtney. It's going to be Isa. I don't know if my brother Steven is there. Please mute your mic. Steven, if you're there. Brother Nosun. I don't know if you're there. I know you're listening, and it's the very first time you've heard the show. You know, we're gonna get it in. So, Sister Courtney, please go in.
No, it's it's not even about that. I actually have the utmost respect for Zion, and he knows this. But I just have one question. He said earlier that he pulled out of the debate because of the outcry of the Israelite community, that they did not agree with him doing a debate with the rabbi. So what I'd like to ask him, because it seems like he respected that outcry enough to pull out of the debate, why is it that it seems like there's a certain level of respect for that outcry, but it's a different level of respect for us who aren't Hebrews or Torah based, who have an issue or questions as to why the rabbi is motivated to be a part of this? That's my question for Zion.
That's an excellent question, Sister Courtney, and I want to counter that question by first saying this. I'm glad that she took the time to point that out, because too often when we argue our differences of view in the community, it does come across as if we actually see one another as being of different lineage and of different stock. All we have, for the most part, as descendants of the transatlantic slave trade and diaspora, are intellectual differences, but we are one and the same people, like it or not. So I'm glad that she took the time to make that statement. And I want to add by saying, can someone mute your mic, please? Okay, so I want to add to that statement and say this. Thank you for pointing that out. So now let me do the right thing and edify myself and take your advice and also address the Kemetic community in their response to them saying, why is it that I have a European representing on the platform? And let me just say this. It wasn't my idea. That's number one. If you look back at the initial tapes, I was told the only way you can actually debate Polight is if Rabbi Harry Rozenberg will share the stage with you. Because I know what Rabbi Harry Rozenberg can do, and I also knew that Polight would only see me if the rabbi was there, I said, okay, I'll do it. And I signed up for it. Now, what the Kemetic community does not have the right to do is question my actions based on Torah, because they don't believe it as a sound doctrine to exist. Therefore, I couldn't arrogate them to right to have an opinion on what I do based on a Torah-based sentiment. But I do respect what Sister Courtney is saying, and I absolutely understand the spirit that she's coming in. Brother Zion, if you are in the conscious community, because it is here that we're hearing you, Brother Zion, we're not hearing you from Maccabees TV, shout out to them. We're not hearing from you from the Mighty Hebrews page. We're hearing from you, Brother Zion, from the conscious community, which is mostly Kemetic. So can you please address us as well? We want you to show us that respect. So thank you, Sister Courtney. I apologize for not doing that previously.
Okay. So you know what? Let me just quickly welcome a new panel member that's just joined us right now. Our brother Adebisi, who's just joined us. Who else we've got in here? We've got the Igbo Hebrew who's with us right now. We've got Brother Nosun. We've got Issa the Great, and obviously we've got Stephen Graham, EP Global, in the building. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix it up. So as soon as you have your say, I'm going to actually have to eject you and I have to apologize and be very sincere with my apology. But we want to have everybody to have their say. We've got over 180 something people now viewing us live, and a lot of them want to get into the panel. You know, I'm getting a lot of slack for it with inside of the comment section. I hear you. So I'm actually going to open it up. If you check now in the description box, literally down below right now, in the description box. Actually, furthermore, if you haven't hit like, if you haven't given us a big thumbs up, please don't even enter into the conversation, okay? Please give us a big like or even share the page to help us to actually grow and reach a larger audience. So if you do that, then definitely you can come in. So we've got new members who have just joined us. And I see a lot of you lot are typing away. I'm going to actually see how many people are typing away very shortly. But yeah, have your say right now. So Adebisi, you've just joined us. I'd like for you first and foremost to actually have your say.
Peace and Black Power. I'm out of Florida. I have a question for Zion Lexx. I mean, just throwing it out there. Um, you as are you a father? I'm not sure if you're a father or not, but I know you're a Hebrew Israelite and you follow the Hebrew Israelite doctrine. But I was curious, how long would it take you to get over something like um I don't know, rape or murder of a family member? Um, how long would it take you to invite, like, just say, uh, somebody in your family was, raped, and they conceived a child? That person who raped your child, would you invite their family members over for dinner? Would
Thank
you?
Thank you, Adebisi. Real quickly, is that your final question for the brother? Because we have to
Yeah,
be
well,
real.
my question
Yeah,
was just based around the whole fact that he followed the Hebrew doctrine, following a book that was given to us about people who raped and enslaved us. I just want to know how long should it take us to get over something like that?
thank you. Okay, straight away, brother Zynex, to you.
Okay, shalom to you, brother. Peace to you. And let me say this. I don't think it's intelligent to put a time frame on pain. Pain varies by the receiver, by the individual who is confronting that pain. Some people have the spiritual capacity to confront enormous amounts of pain and deal with it and rectify it in a short span of time. Others, it may take a little longer. So again, I don't think that there's a barometer that can measure or quantify when pain can be released. So I'm not sure how to approach that question, and I definitely want to address your question, but I just want to point out that you have to be aware of some of the underlying statements that is being made by you that is implicit in your statement. Because again, the barometer for rectification or reconciliation of pain varies upon individual. But I will give you credit because you said you, Zion Lex. So I'll tell you this. From my personal experience, I deal with pain very different. Pain usually takes me quite some time to get over because I tend to become very immersed in whatever is going on, and I tend to replay it in my mind time and time again. So I hope that that answers your question with regard to the barometer of pain. Now to address the second part of your question, as far as why is it that I'm accepting people who have raped and murdered us and gave us a book, let me just make this clear to you while the rabbi is on the phone. I know 110% that no European gave me a Torah. 110%. I know 110% that when the Torah was given, European kingdoms were not written about greatly as Afro-Asiatic kingdoms. And again, this is while the rabbi is on the phone. So I want to make my position clear. I do not embrace the idea that the Torah is of a European doctrine or European base. What I would ask the conscious Kemetic community is this: make up your mind. You cannot say on Monday Torah comes from Kemet and on Tuesday tell me it's a white man's book. Please make up your mind.
Powerful. That's real powerful right there. So you know what? Again, I'm actually going to inject everybody who is not actually going to be participating for this section. Thank you, Adebisi, for coming in. I'm going to open it up. Okay, so the link is in the description box, literally down below. If you want the link to come in and have your say, go to the description box, refresh your page, whatever it takes. Go in there and hit the link to come in. Obviously, you need to have Google Hangouts to join the conversation. But we're going to wrap it up. We're literally enter into the last 10 minutes, less than last 10 minutes. So please make your questions very sharp, succinct, and to the point. I'm going to actually open it up now to the Rabbi Rozenberg. Rabbi, and you know what? If you've got anything that you would like to say that you felt that you haven't had the opportunity to say so far, please, I want to give you the platform to, have as much a say as possible.
I do appreciate that. I guess there's just two different things I want to say. I may have said it already, just to reiterate, this is where I'm coming from. One is to the community of Hebrew Israelites who identify with the Torah, and one was with the regular, I wouldn't use the word regular, people who are just humans. You know, you don't need to have an ideology to be equal. So I just want to speak to both communities. One is there just seems to be so much confusion amongst the Hebrew Israelite community, how there could be humans today that aren't dark-skinned, who could be from the tribes of Israel or grafted into the house of Israel over time. There's just, you know, so much of Scripture deals with that the fact that it's not one nation. And I would like to just quote one verse very quickly from Samuel 16:7, where it says, "But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For it is not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart." So if we believe we're created in divine image and divine consciousness, we should act that way and not use our front part of our brain, the animalistic part of our brain, which judges based on survival. So I'd like to call on the souls of the people who claim to be part of the house of Israel to act like it. That would be the first step. Second step is for the humans of the world outside of religion. I know people are interested in hearing what I have to say, and I just want to make it very clear. I've been very, very, very vague so far with what my actual plans are and the intricacies of them and how they're going to work, and I hope everyone's, you know, tuned in and standby for this debate, or it shouldn't be a debate. It should be hopefully a launch party of what the future could look like. But I hope everyone to be patient with me and buckle up. That's all I got to say.
All right, thank you. And you know, I've got a question. Community members
Kalam?
out there. Yes.
My brother Kalam?
Yes.
Let me add something really quick.
Go ahead.
I'm speaking to the Hebrews now. I'm speaking to the Hebrews right now. I was told by a very, very, very close Hebrew brother that although he respects me as a scholar and as a brother, he does not and will not stand with me sharing the stage with a white European Jew, knowing that they are taking our heritage and have and I guess succeeded in escaping the world with our identity. And he said to me, Torah is for Israel, period. Israel and Israel only. And by Israel, I'm talking about the people, not the state of Israel as it exists today. He said to me, my brother, only Israel keeps Torah. Anybody that's not an Israelite, Torah is not for them. So I had to remind my brother that the Torah does call us Bekuri, my chosen. Be-Huri, my chosen. The Torah says that Israel is the chosen of the Almighty. While everyone focuses on the idea that we're chosen, very few people focus on what we're actually chosen to do. Israel was chosen by the Almighty to teach the world divine law, so that the world can embrace divine law. So Torah is not for the Israelite alone. Torah is for the world. The Creator said that He set Israel up as a light to the nations, that by Israel's light, the world would receive spiritual clarity on divine issues and divine matters. Now to touch on the book of Esther, in the 8th chapter and the 17th verse, it says that the people of the land profess themselves to be Jews. The people of the land, in context of which Ezra 8 verse 17 is speaking of, are non-Jews. And the Torah says, with regard to these non-Jews who are now embracing Torah, that by virtue of the fact that they are embracing Torah, they call themselves Yehudim, which would be how you say Jews in the plural in Hebrew. To use or draw from my Hebraic background, I want to take a look at the very Hebrew word used in the book of Esther chapter 8 verse 17. The Hebrew word is mit Yehudim, which is spelled mem, tav, yod, hey, dalet, yod, mem. Mit Yehudim. Anyone who understands Hebraic syntax or grammar would understand that that compound is letting you know that that terminology, that phrase means to become a Jew. So from the Torah's perspective, anybody who keeps Torah became a Jew. And I want to make that clear because that is written in the Torah. So for any Israelite out there who may disagree with that, I would earnestly implore you to look into the Torah.
Cool. You know what? I wonder what the brother Gorilla Hebrew. I know brother Gorilla Hebrew is very vocal on these type of topics here, and the brother Tazariak. I wonder what they would have to say from their own learning, from their own school of learning, from either GMS or the ISUPK. Do they share that sentiment, or are they diametrically opposed to that way of thinking? That's a question
But
for them.
I think those guys are hypocrites, Kalam, because even the Acts 15 council with Paul, that they gave a reason for them to accept the people who were non-Jews. What some people call the quote-unquote the Noahide laws, where they say that there's salvation for all. I mean, come on, there's tons of places you can go in the Old Testament and find salvation for all. It's not, and I think you know what it is. We have a problem, really and truly. We are just so against this guy coming into the community. Just come on and say it. Just don't use religion. Just forget about religion. We just don't want this guy, because he's white, in the community coming to tell us anything. That's it, point blank. Let's be honest. There's no other reason. There's no scripture. There's nothing. These people just don't want this guy Harry speaking in the community. Period. That's it. That's it. Tell the truth.
Add on to that. I just want to say you cannot counter white supremacy with black supremacy. That's number one thing. And if the children of Israel is meant to be the Tikkun Olam, which means to make the world a better place for every other person, are you going to make the world a better place for just yourself or for every other person? Because the word says Tikkun Olam, which means for every other person to make the world a better place. We are speaking of everyone. So are you making the world a better place for yourself alone? Then you must be a selfish person. We're out here to make the world a better place, and the rabbi has brought a solution from his proposal. The community has not heard him out. They're playing a race card.
Yes, that's right. So you know what? We've actually reached the end of the show. I know you don't want me to carry on. You don't want me to continue, continue with this. I know you do, but I've got to end the show sometime.
Kalam,
I have to end the show sometime.
Can I make a brief statement, my brother?
Go ahead.
Let me say this. I've definitely been watching the comment section, and I try to draw from what the people are saying to try to address it. And I kept seeing mention of Seti and Zion, what's going on with Seti. So let me make this wager right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say something now, and I'm also going to call Saneter later on and confirm it. As of right now, Saneter told me I cannot rejoin the debate with Harry and Polight, because as it stands right now, Polight is happy that I'm no longer in it, according to brother Saneter. And Polight would rather only face off with the rabbi. This is what Saneter is saying. So I'm going to now pressure Saneter with this statement. Saneter, if you do not allow me to rejoin the debate with Rabbi Harry Rozenberg and Polight, I'm going to release the full footage of what happened between myself and Seti.
Ooh-wee! Them power moves there, Carry on. Do I have to scratch my head?
We should be part of it.
That's some fire. That's fire right there. Please, everybody, just mute your mics for a hot second. Damn, that's fire. That's fire right there. You know what? I think Zion Lexx is now got the conscious community in a headlock. It's got him in a headlock. Saneter, you don't want this footage to come out. Saneter, you don't want this footage to... Seti, you don't want this footage to come out. I've kind of heard what took place, but I can't take no sides. I've got to remain unbiased. But damn, I don't even think that footage should leak. So Sana, please make this happen. Make this happen. I want to see this debate go down. You know what? I'm tempted right now. I'm actually tempted right now. I'm actually discussing it with the brothers from Team Osiris, Kufu, etc. Then I'm actually I'm very much interested in actually coming over to the US either in March or April, and I'm definitely coming down to do some filming. I'm definitely going to be coming down to do some lectures, as long as there is an invitation and an open welcome for me to come down. Okay, I know my brother Zion Lex has already stated that if I come down and the lecture still go, or sorry, the debate is still going on, what would you do for me, brother Zion Lex? Zion, are you there?
Can you hear me, my brother?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you ask the question one more time?
Okay, if I come down, I remember we had this conversation. If I come down to America and the debate is still going on,
yes.
You know what? You said you was gonna honor me with something.
Oh yes, you have the first 10 minutes of my time. You have the first 10 minutes. I'm going to give Column L 10 minutes of my slot to speak on issues relevant to the topic at hand, as well as completely introduce himself to the conscious community here in America.
Huh. Okay, so I'm considering coming down.
And I want to add this for all the people that are talking. I have never been known to make loose statements. If I'm going on record right now to say, if Saneter does not add me back in that debate, I'm releasing that footage of Seti. Let me make it clear. Seti himself don't want that footage out. That's not a shots fired. That's real raw talk. And I'm not even talking about the words that was exchanged. And we'll leave it at that.
Ooh, okay. So I'm contemplating coming down. Isa, if you're with me, coming. I'm gonna bring you with me. Stephen, if you're with me, I'm gonna bring you with me. Okay, let's do this, man. Let's do this US UK link up. But you know what? We've literally reached to the end of the show right now. You know what? I think we need to keep on doing more of these shows. I'm definitely gonna get Seti back in. We was gonna get Seti on the Sunday, but unfortunately it was Super Bowl Sunday, which was yesterday, right? It was yesterday. Yeah, it was Super Bowl Sunday. So we couldn't get well, I've made the actual decision not to bring Seti on the Sunday because it was the Super Bowl. Wednesday, we've got an IFA practitioners coming in to actually teach us about the Orishas, teach us about the West African traditional system of the IFA, the Odu IFA. So please tune into that, and I'm definitely going to try and get Seti in, hopefully either on Friday or Sunday, or if you want him on the Wednesday, I'm going to see what day is best. So definitely keep updated. If you haven't already subscribed, please just hit the subscribe button down below and stay in tune with what's going on this channel. And also, I would love to give a big shout out to the Amun-Ra squad, who's actually in I know they're touring right now. I believe they were in Philly or they're in New York right now with Saneter. So I'm going to give a big shout out to Baba TV. Salute to you. Big shout out to Saneter TV, Black News 102. Big shout out to Divine Prospect. I see you doing your thing. Black Eyes TV, who's over here in the UK. Virtue TV as well, who's over here in the UK. You know, all these brothers are doing great works. Obviously, Stephen Graham, phenomenal documentary filmmaker as well. We're trying to go out to Israel very soon to get it in with the documentaries as well. So big up to EP Global. If you haven't checked out his YouTube, please check it out as well. You know what? We're closing off right now, but obviously, if you want to join in the after show discussion, the panel, the link is literally down below. It's literally down below. So just join in and you can have your say. I see somebody's joining in right now. Emerson Fertil. He's just joined in. Peace to you. Colin, I know Colin was very vocal last week as well. He's from the UK, very passionate brother. I don't think we can go off a live show talk right now, so everything is literally going off air. So I'm going to open it up to you know what, the brother Zion Lex and the rabbi to have the last words. Anything they would like to say, please say it now. And of course, we're going to hook up some more shows with these brothers coming up. Because obviously the debate's going to be coming up in March, I believe. Is the debate still on in March for the rabbi?
Yes, that debate is still on. The rabbi is still in it. I'm going to allow Harry to close the show because I've done a lot of talking, so I definitely think that he deserves to close the show. And I definitely would like to close the show by showing humility. You know, in the realer sense of what is going on, we're watching something playing out in real time. And what we're watching playing out is that with all of these different ideological systems and all of these different views, the real question at hand is, where is the action in concert with the speech that is going to rebuild the community? because we have already said and made it clear that outside of the debates, we are actually willing to work with our brothers from the Kemetic community, from the Moorish community. By the way, we have been working with the Moors for some time now, and also from the Islamic community as well. We are more than willing to work with our brothers towards a common goal that would benefit our people in this diaspora. And we want to see those talks being discussed on the platform as well. Why is it that when we come together, the only thing that is discussed are our intellectual differences? Why not invite Ali Muhammad, Polight, Zion Lexx, and others to sit down and help introduce what they propose would bring change to the people, real-time change in terms of progress. And then let's talk about and highlight who is speaking on it, and then let's work to do it. I think that is more fruitful than discussing things that ultimately, no matter what, people are going to always have an indifference towards.
Beautiful. You saying the ball's passed to me right now to close?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I like how Zion ends off with the humility. I respect that. I got trying to give a lot of respect here also to the people I'm in the chat room with. I appreciate everyone's minds and wisdom. Yeah, I guess if I would close on one note, I'm going to drop a spiritual bomb on everyone and leave it on that. Is one of the teachings of ancient Israel is the issue of the mixed multitude, what in Hebrew is called the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude. And Jewish teachings teach that the final exile, the greatest battle the future will face for the reunification of Israel, is the mixed multitude, their descendants still amongst the people. And part of the character traits of the mixed multitude are people who try to uproot the Torah with their actions, as well as create strife amongst the children of Israel, strife and argument for no reason amongst the children of Israel. And, you know, being that I genuinely believe that the people who came on the transatlantic slave trade and the greater African diaspora do have Hebraic roots and tied to the biblical narrative, as well as my community from, you know, not just the European Jews, but from Iran, Iraq, from North Africa all the way to India, I believe within both communities there may exist the mixed multitude within the African community, within the Jewish population. And if that's the case, I'm not going to be surprised when we're getting together for dialogues on peace and unity, all of a sudden some people come out and trying to create conflict and strife and trying to uproot principles of Torah. That would be something we should expect. We just have to know how to deal with it as people trying to bring sanity to the world. We can't let them shake us or phase us. We got to know what role they're trying to play in the biblical narrative and how to counteract it. And you know, almost to move forward with, you know, like a spin move right around it. And on that note, I'd like to say, you know, especially, you know, the people we're debating against are trying to bring back Egypt culture. So now you have this thing called the mixed multitude, came out of Egypt. Their job is to cause strife. And all of a sudden, you got people in the community trying to resurrect Egypt and bring in strife. You know, there's no smoke without a fire. This is a full circle narrative. I think we're in a beautiful generation, and I'm excited to see it unfold.
Definitely. And of course, I'm going to say to you again, everybody out there, if you want to join the after show discussion panel, the link is down below. But I'm going to sign out and say shalom, shalom, shalom aleichem. I'm speaking Hebrew again. Wow. So yeah, I'm signing out right now. This has been Talk with the Titans, and I've been your host, Kalam L. And big shout out to my comedic community, Black African Power. Anka Kek, where are you, man? Where are you? I'm hoping to see you over here in the after show discussion. So I'm signing out right now. So peace and love, Hotep and Salam.